Step right into the world of insane fights on Paternity Court, where we're about to delve into some seriously dangerous situations. Hang on, because this one's going to give you the creeps. In the first case of Austin versus Wallace, a complex and emotionally charged situation unfolds in the courtroom. The case revolves around a man named Wallace, who was caught in a web of romantic entanglements with two women, Miss Austin and Miss Roberts. The core issue is the paternity of Miss Austin's 9-month-old son Ronell, as Mr. Wallace questions whether he is the father. Mr. Wallace has multiple reasons to doubt his paternity due to Miss Austin's alleged promiscuity.
Correct.
When it comes to baby Danielle Wallace, Mr. Wallace, you are.
As the proceedings continue, it becomes evident that Mr. Wallace has a history of going back and forth between the two women, which has caused significant turmoil in their lives. Miss Austin revealed that she had even enrolled in school, but had to drop out due to another unexpected pregnancy.
I had enrolled in school, but I never did go because I had got pregnant once again with Ronell.
The courtroom atmosphere becomes charged with emotions as both parties exchange accusations. Mr. Wallace claims that Miss Austin has been involved with other men, leading to his doubts about Ronell's paternity. Miss Austin vehemently denies these allegations and requests a lie detector test to prove her fidelity. Judge Lake, frustrated with the ongoing drama, strives to maintain order in the courtroom. She emphasizes the need for respectful communication and highlights the importance of resolving their issues for the sake of the children involved.
You remember from the last time you were here, we are going to speak to women respectfully in the courtroom. You can express yourself.
Amidst the chaos, it's revealed that Miss Roberts is also pregnant, potentially further complicating the situation. The courtroom's tension reaches a breaking point, with both women and Mr. Wallace engaging in a heated exchange. Judge Lake decides to temporarily remove Miss Roberts from the courtroom to restore order. She then questions the parties involved about the events leading up to this court appearance. Miss Austin recounts the challenges she has faced, feeling abandoned by Mr. Wallace, who has repeatedly left her and the children. Ultimately, the main issue at hand is Ronell's paternity. Mr. Wallace presents some physical resemblances between himself and the child, but he remains doubtful. He introduces a social worker, Mr. Wright, who will provide resources and assistance to help them make positive changes.
I want to get you all some help. I have joining me today via Skype.
In the second case of Patterson versus Knight, two Alabama men find themselves in court, both claiming to be the father of a 4-year-old boy named DeMarcus Patterson Jr. The courtroom buzzed with anticipation as Judge Lake addressed the parties involved.
Mr. Patterson, you opened your case today to prove that you are 4-year-old DeMarcus Patterson Jr.'s biological father.
Judge Lake turned to Mr. Patterson, the plaintiff in this case, and began questioning him. Mr. Patterson passionately asserted his belief that he was DeMarcus Jr.'s biological father. He recounted the moment he first held the baby and felt a connection. The courtroom was filled with awes from the audience as he shared his emotional journey.
So at that moment, like all the doubts that we had before, I just knew like they were just out the window and just, it was gonna leave us a happy family, but
it didn't happen that way.
Not exactly.
However, Miss Knight disputed Mr. Patterson's claim. She admitted that although DeMarcus Jr. carried Mr. Patterson's name, she was uncertain about his biological father and believed it could be another man.
I just know when I got pregnant that there was a possibility that I could be pregnant by someone else.
As the judge delved deeper into the story, Mr. Patterson explained that he had been present since DeMarcus Jr.'s birth and had willingly given the child his name. However, doubts arose when Miss Knight revealed the possibility of another man being the father. Miss Knight clarified that she had been honest with Mr. Patterson from the beginning, informing him of the potential involvement of another man in her pregnancy. She recalled their conversation about this matter.
Yes.
Do you remember this conversation, Mr. Patterson?
Yes, Your Honor, in a way. When she first told me she was pregnant, that's when we was like, I guess you could say doing the house.
Mr. Patterson admitted to some uncertainty about this conversation, indicating that he may not have fully grasped its implications. He mentioned that they were living together and that Miss Knight had been staying with him after leaving her parents' house. Miss Knight explained that their relationship had started when she moved in with Mr. Patterson, but it was not without its challenges. She revealed that Mr. Patterson had cheated on her during their time together, leading to their separation. During this separation, she briefly dated Ladarius, the other possible father.
I mean, that's how we started our relationship. We were together every day since then. DeMarcus ended up cheating on me within the time we were together, and I ended up leaving with Ladarius.
When Miss Knight found out she was pregnant, she informed both DeMarcus and Ladarius about the situation. Ultimately, she chose to reconcile with Mr. Patterson, who agreed to be there for her despite the uncertainty surrounding the child's paternity. The judge learned that Mr. Patterson had even signed DeMarcus Jr.'s birth certificate willingly, which raised questions about his commitment to the child's upbringing. Miss Knight explained that Mr. Patterson had been actively involved in DeMarcus Jr.'s life and that the child called him Daddy.
Does DeMarcus Jr. call Mr. Patterson Daddy?
Yeah.
As the case continued, it became apparent that a significant development had taken place when Miss Knight allowed the other possible father, Ladarius Sigler, and his mother, Felicia Sigler, into DeMarcus Jr.'s life. This complex situation created a unique family dynamic where the child started calling both men Daddy.
Are DeMarcus Jr.'s biological father?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
You do?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why do you believe that?
In the midst of men.
The judge requested more information and learned that Miss Knight had shared pictures of DeMarcus Jr. with Mr. Patterson, who acknowledged the child's resemblance to Ladarius. This discovery prompted Mr. Patterson to allow Ladarius and his mother into DeMarcus Jr.'s life, further blurring the lines of paternity.
He sat in the car and was like, "That's DJ."
And when you saw those pictures,
That's
you felt like...
when I really started letting him in DJ's life. That's when Mama came and got him.
Amid the emotional testimonies, the judge decided it was time to reveal the DNA test results that would determine DeMarcus Jr.'s biological father. Mr. Sigler, the other possible father, expressed his strong desire to be recognized as the child's father, highlighting the deep connection he shared with the boy.
He do look at both of us like fathers.
Does he call you Daddy, too?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Lord.
The tension in the courtroom reached its peak as the judge opened the envelope containing the DNA test results. The results confirmed that Mr. Sigler was indeed DeMarcus Jr.'s biological father. This revelation brought mixed emotions, with Mr. Patterson expressing his happiness for the child's newfound clarity of paternity.
This court. The biological father is Mr. Sigler.
In a surprising turn of events, Mr. Patterson gracefully accepted the results and affirmed his love for DeMarcus Jr. He understood the importance of having the child's true father recognized and was prepared to support the decision.
Something like that. That's his father. He deserves the right to have his name on a birth certificate, alter his name, change his name, whatever he wants to.
You young men, you all making me proud today, I'm not gonna lie.
In conclusion, the courtroom drama of Patterson versus Knight revealed the complexities of paternity disputes and the emotional toll they can take on all parties involved. Despite the tangled web of relationships, the focus remained on providing DeMarcus Jr. with the love and support he deserved from both his biological father, Mr. Sigler, and his legal father, Mr. Patterson. In the third case, Miss Rogers and Mr. Stone are in a tough situation. They're arguing about whether or not Mr. Stone is the father of Miss Rogers' 7-month-old son, Christian. Their story starts with a surprising twist when they meet again after being friends when they were kids. The big question in this case is whether Mr. Stone is really Christian's dad, as Miss Rogers believes, or if he's not, as Mr. Stone insists. The whole story is a mix of past events, complicated relationships, and different stories.
You say after an encounter with your elementary school sweetheart, you ended up pregnant. You say the defendant has gone through great lengths to deny
Miss Rogers begins her side of the story by talking about how they were close friends when they were kids, but then they lost touch as they grew up. They met again unexpectedly at a friend's house and got closer. They laughed, talked about old times, and eventually became more than just friends. Their short-lived romance lasted about a month. At first, Miss Rogers didn't know Mr. Stone had a girlfriend, which caused their breakup. Mr. Stone, however, says that Miss Rogers was not a faithful partner and that their relationship was just a fling. He claims she was involved with some of his friends, which makes him doubt he's the father of Christian. These accusations led to a lot of arguing and disagreements.
Mr. Stone.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say Ms. Rogers is promiscuous and it was only a casual fling. You say she has even slept with some of your friends and therefore it is
Their stories also don't match when it comes to the details of their private moments. Miss Rogers says they had unprotected sex several times, while Mr. Stone says it only happened once during a threesome with another woman. The courtroom gets tense as they both try to prove their side.
Not every time.
Did you have unprotected sex
One time,
with
Your
Ms.
Honor.
Stone?
It was not one time.
And that was in the threesome.
It was not one time.
A big revelation comes when Mr. Stone claims that Miss Rogers was involved with one of his friends before they got together. Miss Rogers strongly denies this, saying she was only with Mr. Stone during that time. Their different versions of events make it hard to figure out the truth.
But you were still talking to one of my friends.
I was not talking to nobody. When I was talking to him, it was just me and him, and we was never together. We was never in a relationship. It was just friends having sex.
Things get even more complicated when Miss Rogers reveals she was in a relationship before she got involved with Mr. Stone. This adds to the confusion about when Christian was conceived and who the father might be. As the court drama continues, it becomes clear that Miss Rogers and Mr. Stone remember their relationship very differently. They tell opposite stories, and it's up to the judge to sort through their conflicting statements and find out what really happened.
Don't know that. He does not know how I know these people, but he keeps trying to make assumptions. I knew him as a friend. I did not sleep with him, so after me and him had stopped talking, I did not sleep with that.
The judge steps in to help both of them work things out and stresses the importance of communication and cooperation for the sake of their child. Even though they have differences, it's clear that Mr. Stone cares about Christian and wants to be in his life. The judge reminds them to be good role models for their children and encourages them to rebuild their friendship. Finally, the moment arrives when the judge reveals the results of the paternity test. To everyone's surprise, it turns out that Mr. Stone is not Christian's biological father. This news brings mixed emotions, relief, disappointment, and uncertainty.
This court. Mr. Stone, you are not the father.
In the end, the judge offers guidance to both Miss Rogers and Mr. Stone, reminding them of their responsibilities as parents and encouraging them to focus on what's best for their child. The case ends with a chance for Christian to grow up in a loving environment, regardless of his biological parentage.
Proved it. You
Like
proved
I
I'm
told
such
you,
no more. I don't know who my baby
girl
daddy.
without a
You
father,
proved
period.
it. You proved your point. You're good.
Do you know who Christian's biological father is, since it is not Mr. Stone?
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content like this.